Hatshepsut was born in 1507 BC during the 18th dynasty, one of the most significant ruling dynasties in ancient Egypt. Her father, King Thutmose I, was a great ruler who expanded Egypt's empire north to Syria and south to Nubia. Hatshepsut was the only child born from his marriage to Queen Ahmose, and this royal union greatly enhanced her legitimacy as a potential heir to the throne. From an early age, Hatshepsut was surrounded by royal power and majesty, which played a crucial role in shaping her strong and commanding personality. Her father was a military leader who instilled in her the importance of strength and courage in leadership. At the same time, her mother, Queen Ahmose, taught her the royal traditions and how to navigate relations with priests and elites, providing her with deep insights into both politics and religion from an early age. Hatshepsut inherited both leadership and spiritual wisdom from her parents, two elements that would later be pivotal in her rise to power. Hatshepsut received an exceptional education, one that was usually reserved for males in the royal family. Her studies not only included political and religious sciences but also mathematics, engineering, and astronomy, skills that later became essential for the grand building projects she would commission. She learned hieroglyphics, the formal writing system of Egypt, which enabled her to communicate with priests, scholars, and intellectuals. What set Hatshepsut apart was that she wasn't only a learned queen, but also a priestess of Ammonius. She held the prestigious position of high priestess, a powerful role in Egypt's religious hierarchy. This title gave her not just spiritual influence but also political power, as religion and politics were deeply intertwined in ancient Egypt. Her understanding of religion and her strong ties with the priesthood would play a crucial role in solidifying her authority later on. After the death of her father Thutmose I, Hatshepsut's half-brother and husband, Thutmose II, ascended the throne. Thutmose II, born to one of Thutmose I's secondary wives, was a weaker ruler who heavily relied on Hatshepsut to govern. Despite their marriage, they did not produce a legitimate heir, and upon his premature death, Thutmose II was succeeded by his young son Thutmose III from another wife. At the time of his father's death, Thutmose III was just a child, too young to rule on his own. Initially, Hatshepsut acted as regent for the young Thutmose III, but she soon took the unprecedented and bold step of declaring herself pharaoh. This move was highly controversial, as ancient Egyptian traditions did not permit women to rule in their own right. The biggest challenge she faced was how to legitimize her rule in the eyes of the people and the priesthood. Using her political and religious acumen, Hatshepsut justified her reign by promoting the idea that Ammonius, the god, had chosen her as the rightful ruler, positioning herself as a divine descendant who was meant to govern. Hatshepsut's declaration of herself as pharaoh was not merely symbolic, it was a calculated political maneuver. She didn't want to remain in the background as a regent for Thutmose III, who was still a boy. To solidify her rule, Hatshepsut adopted the full regalia of a male pharaoh, including the royal crown and the false beard, symbols of royal authority. She ordered that her likeness be depicted as a man in official carvings and statues, emphasizing her role as pharaoh. To further strengthen her legitimacy, Hatshepsut spread a myth claiming that her father, Thutmose I, had chosen her as his legitimate successor before his death. This narrative was supported by the priesthood, especially the priests of Ammonius, who played a significant role in validating her divine claim. This religious backing was not just a declaration but part of a sophisticated political system that helped her secure her rule. Nevertheless, her reign wasn't without opposition. Some of the military and political elites viewed her rise as a violation of tradition, leading to attempts to undermine her authority. However, Hatshepsut was astute in consolidating the army under her control and bolstering her influence with both political and religious elites, ensuring her rule remained stable. To firmly establish her reign, Hatshepsut employed a range of clever domestic and foreign policies that made her one of the most successful rulers of ancient Egypt. Alliance with the priests. Hatshepsut's strong relationship with the priests was the cornerstone of her legitimacy. Ancient Egypt was deeply religious, and she presented herself as both a political and divine ruler, thanks to the backing of the priesthood. Her spiritual influence was further bolstered by the construction of temples and the expansion of Egypt's religious domain, endearing her to both priests and people. Monumental architecture. One of Hatshepsut's most renowned achievements was her grand construction projects. Her most famous architectural feat is the Temple of Deir el-Bahari, one of the most magnificent structures of ancient Egypt. The temple was designed in harmony with the surrounding landscape, reflecting both power and beauty. These projects weren't merely acts of vanity, they were deliberate attempts to strengthen her image as a powerful, creative ruler who left a lasting mark on Egypt's cultural and architectural heritage. Foreign trade. In addition to her building projects, Hatshepsut was a pioneer in foreign trade. She sent trading expeditions to the land of Punt, modern-day Somalia, a region rich in natural resources like gold, ivory, and incense. These expeditions were highly successful and brought back wealth that significantly boosted Egypt's economy, solidifying her reputation as a wise and economically savvy ruler. The inscriptions that document these journeys depict the abundance of goods brought back, highlighting her success in managing foreign relations and trade. Military campaigns. Although Hatshepsut wasn't primarily known for military conquests like some of her predecessors, she led successful campaigns, particularly in Nubia. These campaigns were not about territorial expansion but rather securing Egypt's southern borders and maintaining control over vital trade routes. By keeping the army under her direct control, Hatshepsut ensured that her reign was stable and that Egypt remained secure from external threats. Hatshepsut ruled for over 20 years, during which time Egypt thrived politically, economically, and culturally. She proved to be not just a temporary caretaker of the throne but a visionary ruler with a long-term impact. Her extensive building projects, most notably her temples and monuments, ensured her name would be remembered throughout history. Despite attempts by later rulers, like Thutmose III, to erase her memory by defacing her statues and inscriptions, her achievements stood the test of time. Under her leadership, Egypt experienced a period of peace and prosperity. Hatshepsut focused on internal development and expanding Egypt's economic influence, marking her reign as a time of remarkable growth and stability. Queen Hatshepsut is a unique example of female leadership in ancient history. She defied the norms of her time, taking the throne and ruling Egypt with wisdom and strength. Her story is not just that of a woman who governed one of the world's greatest civilizations, but also one of creativity and courage in the face of challenges and restrictions. Her reign continues to be studied and celebrated today, inspiring leaders with her legacy as one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs.